Experience tranquility.
Hello, welcome everyone. Week 7 Impromptu, the Iris Podcast. I am here with co-hosts for the day, NPC from Gravity, and your faithful commissioner, Cavalier from Harmony and Chaos.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome to the podcast. Really quick, first of all, guys, I want to apologize. Not that people have told me I don't need to, but I feel like I should. Yesterday was a bit of a personal shit show for me. Everything is fine. Everybody is healthy. That is really all I care about. But the messages of support that I received, even before I mentioned what was going on, were awesome, and I was actually very touched by that. So thank you all. I really mean that. That was very touching for me. But without further ado, we want to get this one going because I'm sure a lot of you guys have some busy Tuesdays ahead of you. I know it's a big scrim day. So we're going to talk about the matches for the week, and I'm going to start off first with a Sugar Rush and Gravity match, and we're going to kick it over to NPC, who is the main tank for Gravity, and tell us a little bit about that match, how you felt about it.
Don't remind me about that match. It was good though. I mean, I had a lot of fun playing it. We did really well. Sugar Rush came out with some high DPS comps. We were able to make a difference. Specs was really surprising. He came back on the Reinhardt, and he really gave me a run for my money a couple of times. So overall, it was a good match. I feel like Sugar Rush has kind of gone away from their classic 4 DPS. Maybe that's because we were expecting it. They went a little bit more traditional comps. That's what I'm going to call it right now. And so they did all right. And, Gravity tried some new things that we were expecting the 4 DPS, and we didn't get it. So it was just it was a good match overall.
Topsy-turvy.
Yeah,
it was very topsy-turvy. It was very close, especially there at the end. I thought we were going to Dallas fuel it and go to map 5, but it didn't quite happen.
I expected a map 5 with how close you guys were playing, that's for sure. It's a fun match. Be sure to check out the VOD, guys. It's a worthwhile watch. Good performance by both teams. We're going to head off to the next match here, which is Liquid Nova and Otaku. And Liquid Nova and Otaku was an interesting match, basically from the point of Otaku's continued dominance. They've been at the top of the standings, as you guys can see in the Discord, and also they've been at the top of our power rankings, and there's a reason for that. They continue to be a dominant team in pretty much every aspect. I look at their team. Obviously, you have Yojak, who is continuing to be a top-tier main tank in the entire community. And then I know a lot of people talk about Freedom when we look at Otaku's DPS line, but I think the person who really... I mean, Freedom is an excellent sniper. There's no question. Excellent hit scan. But for me, the player who deserves a ton of credit for that team is Smugs. Smugs is continuing to show up every week and put on an impressive performance. He's making frequent appearances in our top 5 plays. He's constantly popping off, and he, in my opinion, is probably the most valuable player to that team, despite the fact that he probably, you look at how good Yojak is, you look how good Freedom is, but Smugs is continuing to just be incredible. As for Liquid Nova, I mean, the usual suspects from there were still playing really well. Kurt from Liquid Nova continues to be really impressive, especially his Genji play is quite strong. Liquid Nova, unfortunately, falls in this one 4-0. But Otaku continued dominance and continues to reign at the top of the standings. And now they are on their own with that one loss. Speaking of that, Solo Cup and Havoc. NPC?
All right. So Solo Cup and Havoc, I got to see quite a bit of this after our match. I watched a little bit of the VOD, and Light Rose was just amazing. I mean, Yeti has been predicting it kind of in reverse. He said that Light Rose was very overrated, underrated rather, and Light Rose and Solo Cup they got dabbed on, but then they came back. They came back hard.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Spooderman showed up. Light Rose did really well. Dunzo was in there just doing what he does, but I feel like Solo Cup was just so hungry to prove Yeti wrong that they had to do it. They had no other options, and they went all the way and made an amazing comeback. It was a really great game to watch. Probably, okay, maybe not better than ours, but right up there.
It was
right up there.
It was really fun, and I know I watched the end of the VOD, and I saw maybe they were calling me out directly a little bit.
Yeah,
I don't know
sure.
if maybe there was some hurt feelings.
Yes,
or something. Yes, they
were.
were directly, repeatedly, mind you. And I do want to say that while I did dab on them last week, and I did predict against them last week, I memed them pretty hard. They proved me wrong, and for that, I would like to officially undab my dab.
I mean, if you want to get to them, what you have to do is you have to say, "Hey guys, you're going to win this."
That's true.
Yeah,
man, I should
because
Yeti's just getting them where they need to be.
Exactly. They're the really best.
Yeti.
They practically should overlook the next match. Really, that's basically the point that I'm getting at. So, anyways, that being said, we're gonna go into a match here that Cav was covering for us, which was why do I have the wrong prep list pulled up? Cav, can you remind me which match you had?
I have Illusion Alt F.
Thank you. Scuffed.
So I just finished watching this one, and I'm getting feedback through the. I don't. Well, anyways, I'll just keep going. Was watching, and a couple standouts in this matchup. I definitely saw Azura and Godspeed OP on the DPS lines shining. And it wasn't not really a 3, like it was a 3-1 in final, but it really didn't show that way. And it basically boiled down to Alt F4 not being able to play defense as well as Illusion. Was what I saw. That's basically what I saw. I mean, there are some good plays all around, some good tank plays from Judas Missile as well as Imper. Yeah, and basically it was just it came down to being able to stop the other team, and unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on which side of the coin you're, Illusion was able to play on the defensive.
It was an interesting match to look back on. I know Alta 4 is going through a lot of changes right now, so we'll see how they impact them moving forward for sure. But I wanted to go ahead and spend some time talking about the next match on my list here, which is the Omnic Turtles and Meta Rejects. And that was you.
I watched the Meta Rejects. So I watched it from their point of view. Kingdom, of course, doing great. He made it up to Masters, and his ego is just off the charts. And it really showed. It really showed last week. He was really doing well. Gab, not Gabe, was pretty good. I mean, he did a lot of work. He tried his best. Now, I feel like the Omnic Turtles, they tried the same thing again and again. It just kind of looked that way from my perspective. And Meta Rejects were able just to kind of read them like a book. They lost the first map, but then Meta Rejects just kind of swept them after that because they got their number, they figured out how to counter it, and they did. And that really just speaks a lot to the Meta Rejects, their adaptability. They've added some players that I've seen them grow, and they're growing every day.
I would agree with that. I think Meta Rejects is one of those teams who's going to continue to rise up the ranks here for sure. And they're making a lot of changes. Kingdom's a very proactive captain on that team. He's keeping them moving in a good.
Not when it comes to showing up for the podcast.
Yeah, just maybe show up for the podcast. That's all we're saying, King. Yeah. The next one we want to talk about is My match, Wrecking Crew and Fighting Potatoes, and the Fighting Potatoes were the fightless potatoes in this match, falling 4-0 to Wrecking Crew. I will say that Wrecking Crew is making some changes on that team, and they are quite noticeable. They brought in Lelouch as a main tank, and a very, very good Reinhardt. Very, very, very aggressive Reinhardt, and they caught us with our pants down frequently throughout the match. And another person... and another person that I want to talk about too is actually another one of their DPS that they brought in, Crayfish, a brand new DPS to that line. Teddiness appears to be no longer with that team, but they have Crayfish now. And Crayfish, while not at that same borderline Masters level, is damn close and was lighting us up the entire time. Really, Teddiness was highly touted in this community. Crayfish is not a huge step down, guys, and adding Lelouch to that roster, Wrecking Crew's looking pretty scary all of a sudden. They've really made some changes that I think could benefit them greatly in the long run. I think Teddiness kind of had them all putting a little bit of their eggs in one basket a little bit, and I think some of the changes they're making now is making that team stronger. With Crayfish and Blue on that DPS line, they're scary, and they're a team to watch out for moving forward here. I think despite their low presence on the standings, we're going to see them moving up the chain really. So I expect to see that moving forward here. And the last match we have on this list here is Aimbots and Meteors. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I watched that one. So I watched the Meteors play, and just like I said on the previous podcast, if the Meteors can get all their people on board, they have a good chance, and they did. Red Gear managed to show up for the very last match, and his presence was definitely felt. They got to play, and it was a 3-1. I think Meteors might have won even without Red Gear, but it was really good to see him out there making plays. Fossil, you did it, man. You played with your team. You ditched the Lone Ranger act. I'm proud of you, Fossil. I really am, because I got to see what your team can really do when you play together. I watched most of this actually from HQC's perspective, because he's just phenomenal. He's in there. He's making so much space. And Savage got that play of the match last week, and he is amazing. Just a fantastic tank. But HQC, he had his number every single team fight. It felt like HQC was always pushing in for a little bit more space, and it was causing Aimbots to have to back out of fights that should have been winnable. And HQC was just making all that room, enough room for Fossil to come in and make those plays. So I feel like Meteors, if they can get all their roster together and Fossil can just stay with the team, I think they're gonna do really well next week.
Meteors, they're that inconsistent team in a way that, like you said, when they have all their people on, damn scary team. Yeah. They can beat anybody at any time. Oh, there's my weekly scuffed desktop showing of the day. Nice. All right. So that's the last match. Yeah. That's the last match for the day, guys. Let's talk about the power rankings for the week. We definitely saw some movement here. And again, to reiterate, we did see some changes at the top. And I think that's a big one here is we now only have one loss team left, and that's Otaku. And they rose to the top of the power rankings, and probably in part of that. Not a shot on Gravity or Havoc. They lost to two very game teams, but we did see some significant changes. And I do want to point out Harmony and Chaos is now in third in the power rankings. They broke up that power 4 and have put themselves right in that same contention here. And I also see Solo Cup cracking the top 5 too. I mean, Havoc has fallen all the way to 6. I think that's probably a temporary thing. I don't ever want to count out Havoc from anything, but we saw a massive shakeup here, guys. And then also coming in at number 10 is Wrecking Crew. They're right back in the line here. So NPC, are you seeing anything here that stands out to you?
I think with the exception of Otaku and Sugar Rush, I feel like the teams that are getting dabbed on the most are moving up. Harmony and Chaos, the very beginning, no offense, but they were a little bit of a sleeper team. I mean, people were just like, it's Harmony and Chaos. We don't need to practice.
It's all right. I accept your apology, and I graciously embrace it.
And they're moving up, and I don't know if they're taking advantage of the fact that people aren't preparing for it, but they're moving up. Solo Cup, Meta Rejects, Meteors, Illusion. They were all teams that, you know, we had kind of discounted at the beginning, and that shows how strong the league is, and anybody could win at any moment. And I'm still holding out hope for you, Potatoes. I'm cheering for you.
We need a lot of it right now. I'm not gonna try to fight that. I want to talk Cav too. What anything that stands out to you when you look at these rankings?
I mean, that's pretty fair. I would definitely put Havoc and Rejects maybe above Solo Cup, but I think that's about the only thing I really see that kind of sticks out. To me, it's a four-way tie, or a three-way tie between Gravity, Havoc, and Meta Rejects. And that's
not even
can kind of go anywhere.
Not even putting yourself on that list. Interesting.
Guys, I mean, clearly we've shown that we're above them. No,
Yeah,
we haven't.
yeah.
We're probably going to get just murdered by one of those teams. Who are we facing next?
Well, we'll get an opportunity to predict that later. So, the power ranks are interesting, guys. I do want to say really quick, and this is something I forgot to mention, but I want to mention it now. Ascension. They played in a tournament this past weekend, and they won. They beat a 4.2, 4.3 KSR team at their 3.6 KSR. So, honestly, Ascension, amazing. You guys represented us in an awesome way. Nerdables, you're getting that team is doing great. You guys are on par, or you guys are at a great level right now. Really fun to watch. And you didn't just play goats. Can I just say that I really appreciate that you didn't just play goats? It was a lot of fun. And guys, we're going to be continuing to announce when Ascension is playing in these show matches like this, because it's worth watching, and it's really cool that we can get out and support this team, especially with them going into Open Division. The more support we can lend them as a community, the better. The more hype we can bring around this team, the better. Because this guy's a ton of exposure. It's a lot of fun for them too, I'm sure, when they're seeing all the Tranquility community people in the chat giving them a shout out. So it was really fun to watch, guys. I know I speak for the entire community when I say congratulations and way to kill it. It's awesome.
That was an amazing game to watch. The caster for that match was actually a manager for the team they were playing against. So when he was in there casting, everybody in the chat was for Ascension, and we were making these copy pastas, and just it was so fun, and that I could hear that caster getting so frustrated at that chat.
It was the best. That was the best part of it. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe biased casting. I don't know.
Maybe.
It was fun to watch. Cav, your children are all growing up. How do you feel, man?
Well, we've exceeded my expectations because my goal when I started this whole thing was like, I hope he lasts the season. So now we're talking about season 3. So all my expectations are fulfilled. All this is gravy.
It was tons of fun, guys. So thanks everybody for tuning into that, and we'll continue to announce when things are going on with them. We're gonna go ahead here and we're skipping some segments today because we want to keep it short. We're gonna go actually right into the top 5 plays. Now, chat, I'm gonna be showing the video here, and I don't think NPC or Cav have seen this yet either, so it's new for everyone. But here is the top 5 plays of the week. It's actually top 6. There was something a little bit memey that I wanted to include in there because it made me laugh. So,
spicy.
Yep. Let's go ahead. Top 5 plays of the week. We're going to start off with Freedom Overwatch, another frequent attendee to the top 5 plays. And we have him on his trademark Widowmaker, showing us a couple of really strong snipes. Really, it was a fight that was looking in the favor of Liquid Nova at the time. Kurt had taken out a few with a blade. I heard them in chat here. They were saying, no, but we lost fight. And Freedom said, nah, winnable. And they took it back. Klopsy from Otaku, and again, Otaku being represented again here. We see the Diva Bomb being set out there. He takes out the shield to get rid of 2 of them, and then kills the Mercy with the remech, because that's just good stuff. Arise from Meteors. The support play gets in here, and this was huge. In my opinion, one of the better plays I've seen from a support. Getting some really good damage on the enemy Zarya. He continues to heal with this huge sleep, and then the grenade to make the sleeping Rhine purple. That was clutch as hell. Really great play there. We have Melts from Meta Rejects, a new pickup for Meta Rejects. Damn scary. Watch this. You'll miss it if you blink. Yep, that's a 4K. And then a 5K. Why not? Melts, insane. As Kingdom said in the chat during that, holy shit, Melts. And then Godspeed here, taking a couple with the dragon here, and then after he dodges the self-destruct, he comes out with a nice quick shot on the Hanzo, and then takes out the enemy Ana. Really good play there from Godspeed for Alt F4. And then Spooderman from Solo Cup, again, another person who makes frequent appearances on this top 5 with the Pharah, and really just a great ult here, completely clearing the point of everybody from Havoc. Instrumental, honestly, in the success of Solo Cup in that big 3-2 undabbing of Havoc. So chat, I do want you guys to get a vote in too. So if you guys want to spam who you think should be getting the top 5 play of, or the top play of the week, go ahead and do that, and I will take that. If we need to break a tie, we will do that. Cav, what do you think looking at those?
You know what? I'm a big fan of the Japanese. They're industrious. So I'm gonna go with Genji.
That's Melts from Meta Rejects, gets 1 vote.
Oh, was that Meta Rejects? Sorry, Meta Rejects. Sorry, Japan, you lost the war.
All right, NPC, what do you think?
You know, at first I was gonna give it to Freedom, but you know, when your team calls to regroup, you regroup. I mean, that one time it happened to work out, but overall, I think that's a bad strategy to keep pushing it. So, I don't think I'm going to give it to Freedom, but I do think Arise needs it on the Ana. You don't see Ana plays like that every day, and I like to see good support plays, especially when they're focusing the Reinhardt like that, the sleep and the grenade. It was clutch.
I am kind of in an interesting spot here because those are my 2 favorite plays as well, and I was kind of hoping you two would pick the same thing, so I didn't have to cast a deciding vote here. Really, Melt's really good 5K, and again, it was one of those things, you blink, you miss it. And then you saw with that really disgusting, that really good play by Arise on that support. Arise is considered to be the top support in the community for a reason. And honestly, I'm going to give it to Arise. I have to say it's just such a good play that, I mean, Melts was insane, but we've seen Genji's pop off before. We haven't seen an Ana come in that clutch, at least recorded, that clutch yet this season, and it was such a great play that absolutely turned that fight into their favor. They needed that too. They only won 3-1. I mean, they lose the map there. That's a 2-2. We go to map 5. Who knows what happens? Ask Common Turtles about map 5. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give it to Arise. It was a really good play. So Arise gets that one, and we're gonna give a support rep their first play of the week. So congrats, Arise. You'll be receiving that 2 loot box during the next event. And we will now go into the last 2 segments of the day. Before we do predictions, we have to do a raffle, guys. Cav was...
Oh my god!
I know, guys. Cav was collecting the signage raffle, and we're going to do this in the least scuffed way possible, which is me, again, dragging the random number generator over, and then dragging this over here. You guys can see... Oh, that screws up every time I try to do that. There we go. All right, so there we go. It's raffle time, folks. We have, I guess, number 2 through number 28.
So we're going to do the deck. Which one are we doing first? Decal or the...
I think we're going to do the sign first, and then we'll decal it. So here are the people, and we will go ahead and make the roll now. 12, Sidereal is the winner of the big sign. Congratulations, Sidereal. You will be taking home that sign. I'm sure Cav will be getting in touch with you about that. So
I have to ship it to LA.
Can you not get a fellow Canadian? So congratulations, Sidereal. You've won the raffle. We're going to do the single decal or decal, depending on what side of the Canadian-U.S. border you are in. And here we go for the decal. 18. That's Courage. Courage from Havoc. Congratulations. You win the... Is it like a 2-foot vinyl decal?
Similar to the one that you see back here. So, you know, that's... I don't know, 4x4 maybe.
So a massive vinyl decal.
That's big.
That's big, and it looks
It's
awesome.
a fathead.
So congratulations, Courage from Havoc. You will be taking down the vinyl decal from Cavs. So thanks everybody who participated in that, and again, congratulations to the winners, Sidereal and Courage. So we'll go ahead and get into the final segment, which everybody loves to talk about because people love holding these things over our head, is the prediction segment. We're going to start with Gravity in a bye week. Oh.
Okay.
Somebody's here.
I'm so sorry.
Hey, Kingdom.
And that's all she wrote, folks.
And that's all she wrote.
All she wrote. Congratulations. Welcome to the Iris Kingdom. We were just about to do the prediction segment. Convenient that you joined us.
I'm so sorry. I fell asleep. Work kicked my ass today, and I'm.
I mean, it's not like we pinged you.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like when I fall asleep, I threw my phone halfway across the room.
All good.
When I fell asleep. I apologize.
Things happen. People love hearing your voice, anyways. Although all we get to see is the K. All we get to see is the K logo right now.
Yeah.
But
I'll work on it for next time.
All right. Kingdom. We're gonna start off with the prediction segment: Gravity versus Renegades. Congratulations, Gravity. You're gonna bounce back with a 4-0.
Okay.
Big one?
Yeah. I mean, I think so. We practiced hard for this one, so we're really hungry after that last loss, and we're really gonna do our best.
Poor Renegades.
Glory.
Poor Renegades. Meteors and Liquid Nova is the first match of the week. I'll go ahead and kick off the predictions here. I do want to give a prediction here. I'm going to go Meteors 3-1 in this one. I think Liquid Nova is going to bounce back a little bit for the Otaku match. But I think Meteors is just too good of a team right now, and as long as their team is showing up, they're going to continue winning. So, Meteors 3-1. Kingdom, what do you think? Meteors versus Liquid Nova.
That's really interesting because, for me personally, I have so many friends on both sides, so either way I say it, I'm going to get flamed on.
Welcome to my life.
But I do think Liquid Nova has this, just this, something about him is no one really knows what they're going to bring to the table, and that's what I think is so interesting, because you look at the side of Meteors, you see Red Gear, you see Arise on that side, such a strong support. You look at Liquid Nova, question mark. They beat Havoc, okay? They beat Havoc. I'm excited to see what they're going to bring to the table. So I'm going 3-1 or 2-3. I'm going to say, let's say 3-2 Liquid Nova.
It was Illusion that beat Havoc, by the way.
Yeah.
But
The other purple guys.
Look, I just woke up, okay? And both Liquid Nova's my friends too. I think Liquid Nova's good too, okay? But I will
Here at the Iris, we prize ourselves with having the most relevant information that we can analyze appropriately.
Man, it's not fair because because Nick and Player are both team captains. They're both my friends. All right, you know what? I retire. Goodbye.
So that was Kingdom's podcast debut was going strong today.
Yeah, it's great.
Crab Kingdom is gone.
All right, if we're talking Liquid Nova, I think Meteors is going to win that one 3-1.
Cav, what do you think?
All right, moving on.
I got the Meteors, baby. They dealt us our first loss of the season, so I got Meteors winning that one 4-0.
4-0. NPC, what do you think?
My good pal Red Gear is probably not going to be able to make it, but he could show up for a last match. You never know. But I really think that Fossil is doing well and sticking with his team. He's been a lot less toxic lately. I feel like Meteors are going to have this. Maybe not a 4-0, but definitely the 3-1.
Quick shout out, by the way, Red Gear, the designer of the new logo that you are seeing for the Iris podcast. We will be, it's awesome. We will be doing some work on getting some new stuff for the podcast, some new art assets in the future. Red Gear is kind of taking the charge on that. So awesome. We're excited to show you guys a little bit more down the line. The next match on our queue here is Omnic Turtles and Harmony and Chaos. NPC, what do you think?
Well, you know what? I'm gonna go Harmony and Chaos. I'm gonna go Harmony and Chaos. I got it because Cav is listening, and no, not just that, but I think the Omnic Turtles, they're gonna put up a fight. The Omnic Turtles are another one of those unpredictable teams, kind of like Kingdom was talking about. They're just, you never know what they're going to have. And I feel like that's a strength sometimes, but it can also be a weakness because they're not really good at any one particular thing. And Harmony and Chaos definitely has the support line and the DPS line to take that out.
Kev?
I'm a little biased on this one. I do think we win this one. I definitely don't take the match lightly, but I do think we pull it out. I don't think it'll be a slam dunk, but we'll get.
Kingdom, what are you thinking? Omnic Turtles, Harmony and Chaos.
Well, I mean, I think that Gab is such a good team captain and all that, and I think the Omnic Turtles are, as you would say, underrated. But Harmony Chaos is playing out of their minds right now, and I don't know what Cav did from first season to this season, but
Cocaine
or something, Adderall, cocaine, something on the two. But they're playing out of their minds, so I'm definitely going Harmony Chaos 4-0.
4-0.
Or well,
Remember, Cav, Cars 3 and DVD Blu-ray.
you have to remember, Omnic Turtles just broke the 3-2 or 4-0 streak they've been on. And for me, when I'm looking at this match, I'm seeing Harmony and Chaos, and I'm seeing Harmony and Chaos with a dominant win. I'm seeing a 4-0. Steve Buscemi continues to be incredible and again, this is not to just kiss Cav's ass. The best support line in the community, bar none, Cav and Shadowfear.
Ooh.
We do fist bumps and secret handshakes before each match.
It's true. I've seen it.
And Adderall.
And lots of coke. Havoc and Otaku. That is a huge match this week, guys. Really, Otaku top of the standings. Havoc season 1 champions. Honestly, probably one of the more anticipated matches we have coming up here. This mid-season point. For me, I'm seeing a victory for Otaku. It was really tough for me when I was deciding this. The reason why I'm leaning Otaku right now is, again, I think that DPS line for them is just too good. And I think Yojak and Dunzo and Yojak are going to be it's going to be a clash of titans. And I think the DPS line for Otaku is going to make the difference. I think they win it. I think it's going to be 3-2, but it's going to be a hell of a watch. So make sure to watch those streams, guys. It's going to be fun. Kingdom.
I think I'm gonna have to agree with you. I think Otaku is gonna win this one. I think that once we've started to see Havoc's armor, start to crack a little bit once they lost to Illusion. I messed up earlier, and then they lost to Solo Cup in that 3-2, and I think that something's going on with Havoc internally. At least the I can't say what, I'm not sure what it is, but I think that Otaku is on top of their game right now. I think they're playing better than anybody in the league, as the stats show right now, and so I think they're going to win 3-1.
Cavalier, what do you think?
I'm gonna go the other way.
Ooh.
I'm gonna say Havoc 3, and that's not a slight against Otaku. I just think Havoc coming off that loss, and Havoc's one of those teams that just manages to squeak it out, but they didn't this past week. But they always have been that team who squeaks it out on map 3 or map 5 rather. I don't know. I think they bounce back. That's my.
I had to fix your audio. For some reason, you were hella boosted on my screen, and I just noticed that. So I went away. We still heard you, but I went away from the screen for a second there, as I just wanted people to know that I wasn't going crazy. Final prediction, NPC.
Okay, so we beat Otaku, and Havoc beat us. So I think to complete the cycle, Havoc is going to beat Otaku. So I think that's gonna come around that circle. So I think Havoc, it's going to be a very close game. It might be, like Cav said, it's going to be the 3-2. It's going to be real close, and I'm hyped to see it. I kind of wish it was a featured match because I want to watch.
It would be a very interesting future match for sure. I will have to say that I think for me, what I like most about what you just said is that we're gonna have a menage a trois at the top. And really, who doesn't like that? So, anyways, moving on.
I think it's mostly dudes though.
It's true.
All right.
And that poor one lady that's on one of these teams.
Oh God.
Ugh.
Man, I think I've seen. Never mind. Anyways, moving on to something a little more PG. Solo Cup and Fighting Potatoes, and I want to start this one off because for me, Solo Cup and Fighting Potatoes, there's some history, folks, and let me
Turn
take
it around, baby.
let me take a moment to spin you a tale, if we will, everyone. So I bring you first a long time ago to season 1. In season 1, the Fighting Potatoes were 0-7. Really a pretty similar spot to where we are now, which is funny, isn't it? We hadn't won a match all season. We really just hadn't had any good performances at all. Solo Cup, team with a ton of positive momentum, just coming off some big wins near the top of the standings. Everybody's talking about Solo Cup as a real threat to take down the whole thing. But on one fateful spring night, that was that one time, and the Fighting Potatoes, they won their first match, 3-1 against Solo Cup. Now, do I think that's going to happen again? Maybe. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I think Solo Cup is a better team than they were last season, and I think they've lost some people, but they've made some positive changes too. And I think that the Potatoes are in a more challenging spot this season. That being said, we're going to win 4-0, and it's going to be easy. So, Kingdom, go ahead.
You're gonna just do the drop down on me, huh?
Yeah, go ahead, buddy.
Well, I guess I was part of the tale for most of this. I was there when you beat us. I was the off tank Solo Cup season 1 when you beat us, when you brought this lovely fella named Fate onto your roster for the first time. And,
he was there actually 4 weeks prior to that too. So.
He was there 4 weeks prior?
Yeah, he'd been there for a long time.
Then, so. Oh, okay. Well, that's not what I heard from Zuby, but whatever, dude.
People like to make up things. I'll point out that, by the way, that was my first match.
Oh, wow. That's why. Because you guys, you're just so good, dude. No, but...
Bringing the spice.
Bringing the spice. Well, yeah, you beat us then. That was great, but this is a different Solo Cup team now. And I know that most of the Fighting Potatoes have stayed the same minus Fate, but this is an entirely new Solo Cup roster. And we didn't have somebody who wore pants and was rather grumpy at the time. Have you heard of Grumpy Pants?
Never heard of him.
Have you ever heard of him? Never heard. You're gonna find out about him, and especially if you're a main tank player, he will make your life hell. I'm talking May. I'm talking Sombra. I'm talking Spawn killing you with Symmetra. You're going down 4-0 because Grumpy Pants is gonna make you cry. I'm sorry, man. I love you, but Grumpy Pants is gonna make you cry unless Mousy hits a 5K Riptire every fight, which I know she can. But Grumpy Pants is gonna make you cry, and it's gonna turn your little dream into a nightmare, man. 4-0. 4-0
Sounds a little biased.
It's not. I promise you. I've seen what Grumpy can do. It's not. It's a fair warning. Love you, buddy.
Okay.
Cav, what do you think?
As much as I love the Potatoes, I think I gotta go Solo Cup here. Yeah. Just needs the Fighting Potatoes just need something. I don't know what that is right now, but they need something to kind of just galvanize, and Solo Cup's doing work, as we all saw last week. So I think it's a tough week for you, buddy.
Every week's a tough week as a potato. NPC, go ahead.
All right. I don't know as much about Care Bears as Kingdom does.
True.
But, so I'm not sure what this whole grumpy thing's about. But what I do know is that the Potatoes they're the Shanghai Dragons. They're gonna have a win eventually. It's gonna happen. And I think Solo Cup just might give it to them. I really think it could happen here. I think Solo Cup is gonna they're gonna think easy claps, boys. They're all gonna play Apex all week long. They're not gonna practice. They're not gonna do anything. They're gonna think it's gonna be so easy, and they're gonna go in there and they're gonna meme. They're gonna play Spanish Inquisition. They're gonna try Torbjorns. They're gonna think, we got this next map. They're gonna underestimate the potatoes, and the potatoes are gonna take it. Now, it might be close. It'll be close if the potatoes can win. Now I'm thinking I'm thinking 3-1. I'm thinking potatoes 3-1. I think Solo Cup's just not going to prepare. They're not prepared.
What you need to do, Yeti, is this. You need to provide them with a keg of beer. They're Solo Cup. What do you do with Solo Cups? You drink, and then they're all wasted. You roll them. That's how you do it.
Easy.
I don't.
Is that
Light
why Calvin's
Rose.
doing so
Light
good
Rose
this
is
season?
Light Rose is 15, guys. We can't do that. Pretty sure that's a crime.
Yes.
He's also from Wisconsin. I'm not going to buy anything for anybody from Wisconsin. So, just my 2 cents there.
I gotta hate on the cheese people, man.
Because I live in Minnesota. That's why. Anyways, enough of the meme team with the dream. Solo Cup. Or I'm sorry. Sugar Rush. I almost said Sugar Cup. And Illusion. NPC Sugar Rush versus Illusion. What do you think?
So Sugar Rush handed us a loss, and Illusion Kingdom is the team that beat Havoc.
Oh, okay.
And Havoc beat us. So let me think about how this is going to play out. I think it's going to be Havoc. I think Havoc. Yeah. Yeah.
Solo Cup and Illusion?
Solo Cup and Illusion. No, Solo Cup and Potatoes.
No, Sugar Rush and Illusion.
Sugar
Guys,
Rush.
It's Tuesday, folks.
We don't know.
We don't know what the fuck is going on.
I got so focused on making fun of Kingdom that I forgot.
Wait, we're playing Overwatch?
It's great, isn't it? This is a great podcast.
I'm gonna go play Apex now.
Yes.
So yeah, Sugar Rush. I think it's gonna be Sugar Rush. I think it's gonna be Sugar Rush.
Say it again.
Sugar Rush.
Thank you for saying it slowly. Cav, go ahead.
Sugar.
You know what? I watched that VOD tonight with Alt F4 and Illusion, and I think it's gonna go 3-2, but I think it's gonna fall to Sugar. Yeah, that's my prediction. I think it'll be closer than people.
Kingdom, what do you think?
This one's interesting because everyone always talks about how good Sugar Rush's DPS line is, but on the side of Illusion, they've got Asura. They had Kawhi Wood on their team. I can't remember.
No, Asura was kicking butt.
Asura, and then they had goodness,
Black Ninja, Velo.
Yeah, I know Black Ninja, but Velo. I couldn't think.
Velo.
I love
Yep,
Velo. He's a really cool guy, and he's really good. And Black Ninja is super scary too. So it's like clash of which team has more DPS players, kind of. In a world owned by goats, this is a battle between who has the stronger DPS line. And there's so many DPS in the equation, but I think that Sugar Rush just has a little bit more DPS strength, a little bit more DPS flexibility. So I'm going to think 3-1 Sugar Rush.
I'm going to go 3-2 Sugar Rush on this one. And the reason is because I think the support line for Sugar Rush is going to be what leads them to victory. That 4 DPS comp would not be possible without the healing skills of Sifakilla. And then at the same time, I don't believe that there would be any possibility of the DPS having as much freedom to do what they need to do without people like Sidereal and I'm sorry, not Sidereal, pardon me, without Sacred Walrus and Frosty Clive also providing the assistance that they are. Frosty Clive started the season as a borderline silver, very low gold, high silver player. And I'm continuing to watch Frosty Clive in their matches, and they are getting consistently better and better every week. And I think that support line on the Sugar Rush is going to be what leads them to victory. I think the DPS will balance out with Asura, who I'm going to say the word, guys. Everybody get your drinks ready. Underrated DPS on that team on Illusion is Asura, and they're both. I think we do need to definitely give a shout out to where it's warranted there. But I will say, Sugar Rush 3-2 in a very, very close competitive match. 2 matches to go here. Wrecking Crew Alt F4. I'll kick it off here. Wrecking Crew, for me, is looking really good right now. I've already covered them once, and I'm going to cover them now. I'm going to say Wrecking Crew takes this one. I'm going to say it's actually a 4-0 Wrecking Crew. Alt F4 is undergoing some serious changes right now, and I think they're going to need a week to fully gel. It's going to be a close 4-0 in that the maps will all be very competitive, but I think the changes that the Wrecking Crew are making right now are making them a very scary and very competitive team. And I think Alt F4 is just not quite there yet. So I think Wrecking Crew takes this one on a 4-0. Kingdom.
Yeah, like you were saying, Alt F4 is going through a lot of changes. I think it was a really positive change. They brought on Chief E. He's my homie. He's a cool guy. And I think his McCree is out of this world. So that's something that Alt F4 is really lacking, is just a really stable DPS line that's not, consistently changing, especially with Cryptic Force leaving. Things are shaken up in Alt F4. So I think that Wrecking Crew is going to take advantage of the fact they are not at full strength, and I think they're going to come with a 3-2 or a 3-1 victory.
Cav, what do you think?
I think Alt F4 needs to basically hone their talents. I think the talent's there to do the job, but they just need to dial it in. Wrecking Crew has a lot more time together and have been playing pretty well, so I'm going to say 3-1 Wrecking Crew.
NPC?
Wrecking Crew. I'm going to go with Wrecking Crew. Alt F4, like you said, needs some time to grow, although it wouldn't surprise me if Alt F4 just come out and dominate, because once again, it's that taken by surprise kind of thing. We've got players that we really haven't seen that much of. And with the main tank Cryptic Force leaving, he won't be feeding as much, which is good. But their overall play style, their overall play style is going to change with their main tank, and I feel like nobody's really expecting that, and their composition is just going to change a lot, and it's possible it could go their way. So this is going to be a close one, but I think maybe 3-1 Wrecking Crew.
All right. So with the last match of the week, we'll have an announcement out soon for this match. Meta Rejects and Aimbots. Meta Rejects continuing to rise in a lot of people's rankings, although they fell this week despite being inactive. Who knows? And Aimbots, a team who is constantly that team that no one should ever overlook. NPC, what do you think?
I gotta give it to the Rejects. I feel like they've added a lot of talent. I mean, we saw that play of the week or the play of the week nominee, I suppose. And I feel like they're just going to get better and better. And Aimbots have had the same group of guys, and they've got a good solid core, and hopefully they can make it competitive. But I think I'm going to hand it to the Rejects, probably 3-1.
Cav, what do you think?
Go Meta Rejects here. And because I just think Kingdom's got a tighter ship, to be quite honest. I think they're the threat right now, and unfortunately, I think that's going to be the short stick for the Aimbots this week. I think.
Is that Kingdom's team? Okay, he's going to oversleep, and it's going to automatically 4-0.
We have a strat based off when I oversleep, so we should be okay in that regard.
I think it's going to be 3-1 Meta Reach.
All right, Kingdom, you got a big match this week. How you feeling coming in?
Yeah, I think that this match is super going to be.
Whoa! Is that some? Are we dabbing on the Aimbots, or what are we doing here?
Oh, sorry. Who are we playing again?
Don't underestimate your opponent.
Yes, you're making a mistake.
Though. I think
That's how the potatoes are going to win.
I got it, dude. That's good, but I want them to play as hard as they can, because we got some sticks. We got the longer stick here when it comes to time. We had the biggest stick, so we had the least amount of time to really work with our roster, and the time we've allowed or had is really just benefited us to understand we are in a situation where we need to hurry up and get the things together. Everyone is on the same page. Everyone is focused on. We had the least amount of time, so we need to be on top of it if we're going to stand a chance. So that's the ship we're riding on right now, and I think we're scary. Let's put our minds to it.
Meta Rejects will not only win this match, I think they will win every match for the rest of the season, and I think they will win the championship at the end of the season now. You can go ahead and clip that. That is my official prediction that it will not be changing the rest of the way. Meta Rejects will win every match the remainder of the season, and they will win the championship. That is how I feel. This one is going to be a 4-0.
Be sure to cup the balls when you finish that set.
Of course. Don't ever doubt me. Going to be a 4-0. Meta Rejects is going to be a statement win for them. Melts, the newcomer on the DPS line, takes already, who in my opinion is the best, or at least top 3 DPS in the whole community, in Peter's 6G, 4GE, LTE, LMAO, WTF, and /Horus. Combine him with Melts, and you have a DPS duo that can rival anybody in the whole community. Now, if only they'd stop playing goats. I guess they might not have a choice in a couple weeks, but I'll have to see how they adjust to the meta, and maybe they might reject the current meta.
Double jeopardy. This is where the scores can really change.
Whoa, I'm shaking.
Yeah.
So that's our predictions for the week, guys. We'll see if it all comes together. We'll see how it all pans out. But again, that's the podcast for the week. Apologies again for the short kind of weird cast today. Next week, we will be having our mid-season podcast. You will see a lot of faces on here, and we'll be knocking out a ton of stuff. Mid-season awards will be handed out by the podcast. They're nothing real official, but semi-official, short of. You should still be here, guys. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be our biggest podcast of the season thus far. We're going to have 6 to 7 to 8 people in here chatting about the season, chatting about who they like, who they dislike, and who they want to dab on. But we are excited to bring that to you here, so stay tuned for an announcement on that. In the meantime, on behalf of the Tranquility community, thank you for joining us today, and we will see you next week.
Experience tranquility.